Hi, welcome to episode 4 of this tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to add user settings to the app so that the user can choose to sort the movies by popularity, by highest rating, or by favorited movies. In our activity, our main activity, we already have a settings option here. So that's very convenient. So if that settings option is selected, we're going to start a new activity. And we're going to name our new activity settings activity. So let's create our new settings activity. New activity. So this settings activity is going to be a little bit different from all the other activities. Instead of extending action bar activity, I'm going to extend preference activity. I'm going to add a preference change listener to it. We're going to implement the methods. So instead of inflating the layout activity settings, we're going to, in the onCreate, we're going to add preferences. And our preference name is going to be sort by. We're going to create this method in a second. But first, let's create our preferences XML file. So here in resources, we'll go to new, Android resource file, the XML, and it'll be a preference screen. We'll just name it. What did we name it here? Preferences. And we're just going to have a list preference. And you can have all kinds of preferences. You could have a text box enter preference. I don't know, there are a bunch. But we're just using a simple list preference. Remember that key we used earlier? Sort by? That's what's going to be our preference key. Its default value is going to be popularity. Actually, the default value should be rating, because when the program first starts, sort by popularity will be false. We're going to create a new array in our strings.xml file. So let's create these two. and go over to our strings.xml file. And in this array, we're going to have 3 items: popularity, rating, and favorites. And these are the values of each selected item. We'll just do the lowercase version. This is what's displayed to the user: popularity, rating, and favorites, and these are the values that we check internally. Let's populate the onPreferenceChange method. If preference is list instance of list preference, which in this case it is. Here we're setting the preference. When the preference is changed, we're setting the summary. And if it isn't a list preference, we're just going to set it to the value of whatever's entered in the preference. Alright, there's some talking going on in the background, so I'm just gonna drown it out with my voice. Um, la la. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright, cool. Alright. Alright, now we have our preferences. Now we're going to implement the preference change listener in this class, movie fragment. Yeah, some people are really passionate today. Alright, we're gonna create a new array list with the posters, but this is just gonna be for the favorited posters. And right now, later in this tutorial, we're gonna populate this array with our favorited poster paths from a database. But right now, we're not doing that. That's later. So we're just gonna make an empty array list for now. Now we're going to make the preference change listener in here. Let's implement that method. And then we're just going to call onStart in this. So when the preference change is changed, even if you're not in this movies fragment.java activity, when the preference is changed, onStart will be called so that the grid view will automatically be set to null or a black screen, and onStart will be called. Which means, what are we going to do in onStart? We're going to change around some variables. Do we have sort by favorites up here? Okay, we do. We have sort by popularity and sort by favorites. So how are we going to fetch these preferences in onStart? Well, first, we're not going to automatically be setting it to most popular movies anymore, because we're going to get most popular, highest rated, and favorites. So oh. Alright, so here we're registering the listener. I hope you enjoy the entertainment in the background. So now we're getting the value from the string. Remember here we had our three values: popularity, rating, and favorites. Well, now we're going to check that value. And if that preference value, the sort by, because we named the preference sort by, equals, this is what's returned if we can't get anything. So this is like the backup string. We could actually just make this nothing, but it doesn't matter. We'll just make it popularity. So it's going to check the sort by preference and try to get a string. And I don't know why people are so excited in the background. I really don't want to start this video over because I don't. Alright. Just pay attention. Turn off your volume during this part. So now we're checking if it equals rating. So by default it's going to equal popularity if nothing is selected. Okay. Actually, yeah, let's just keep it as popularity. In fact, let's change it back here to popularity as the default value. And then now we're gonna set it to highest rated movies. Sort by popularity as false. Sort by favorites as false. And then one more for favorites. Sort by favorites equals true. Sort by popularity equals false. And here we're just going to do something cool. So right now we have no favorited movies. So if you go to the favorited movies tab, you'll just get a black screen. But what we want to do is tell the user they have no favorited movies. So we're going to have just a little text view show up that says you have no favorited movies when you go to the favorited options. And in the later episodes, we'll implement a way to favorite movies. This will be true in our case before we favorite any movies. So we're going to make the grid view visibility gone and have the text view say you have no favorited movies if the favorited poster size is 0. Otherwise, we're going to set the visibility back to visible. So otherwise, if we do have favorited movies, which we won't in this episode, but for future episodes, I'm going to populate the grid view. And then if it's not sort by favorites at all, we're going to set the visibility we're just going to remove the text view that says you have no favorited movies. Oh, we already do that here, so no need to be redundant. And then we're going to load videos from the server. So in this else block, we're actually going to extend it to all of this activity over here. And let's test this to see if it works. So this else means if you're not on favorited movies, you're just going to do the normal fetching the data from the server. We don't need to fetch data from the server if we're on the favorited movies, because we'll be getting that from a database. Alright, so here we go, most popular movies. Let's change the settings. There we go, highest rated movies. You have no favorited movies. Alright, perfect. Sorry about the noise in the background. I would have normally restarted the video and done it again, but I'm feeling really lazy. So just mute during that time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hi, we're just going to make 2 quick changes to the code that we worked on this episode. First, because if you remember correctly, our default preference will be popularity. By default, before any preference is selected, popularity will be the one chosen. So we want to make our sort by popularity boolean the first time when the app is run to be true. And then the second thing we're going to change is, see here how we have a relative layout and we add the view, you have no favorited movies. Actually calling this relative layout to remove that view doesn't work properly. We need to convert it into a linear layout. So set of a relative layout. And And we're going to change that down here too. And then of course in our fragment we just need to change this to a linear layout. And change the ID to linear layout. And that should fix a small problem that was showing up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.